everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Ukaklisa, your host, and you're watching Butter Talk underscore Ukaklisa. Today I'm back again, finishing off from a previous video. We're talking about the walls, we're talking about the cracks on the walls. So today we're just here to finish off the episode. We're talking about the risk and how are you going to fix those cracks that you see on your walls. So Zexuwile again to finish off. So it will take us through those risks and how you can fix them. Is the hope if you see those vertical or horizontal, cracks on your walls. So again, relax and enjoy this episode. Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. That's okay.
Njani?
Um, good London.
I'm good. I'm good. The Lord is good all the
Okay.
time. So, make
Mm.
siqale ke apha ne. I think we first try to summarize, to recap on what we left off last week or last episode when you spoke about the causes and the types of these cracks that we see in on our walls and so forth. So just see briefly, 1 minute, just recap for those maybe about they didn't watch this previous video. But I'm encouraging you to go and listen to it if you didn't haven't listened to it yet. So just briefly, the causes and the types.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. Just to recap on what we discussed last week, um, we were discussing vertical and horizontal cracks that we have on our buildings. So, horizontal cracks are cracks which are caused by the foundation sinking. It's either due to settlement or it's a continuous settling of the building or sinking of the building. Then we discussed vertical cracks. Those ones are caused by the house settling to its final position based on the foundation, and also sometimes are caused by poor workmanship on the plastering. Um, so those ones are not that severe, but again, take caution. Look at the size. We discussed that last week. You should look at between 0 to 3 millimeters width of those cracks. So you just have to monitor them. The wider they become, which means now the problem is no longer about the plastering and so forth, but the issue now is your foundation sagging. So we dealt with that last week. So but today I'll be briefing you more about the issue, how to fix them, and what's the risk if we don't fix them in time. Over to
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Six, for that brief summary. I'm not going to again repeat what you just said for the sake of time. Okay, let's get into this game. Um, Now I know, now I understand the types of the risk. Others they might see in their property it's a vertical. Others observe able to know it's a horizontal. Let's start then with the risk of the horizontal crack. What are the risks associated to that?
Okay. Okay. Most of the time, your horizontal cracks are caused by the foundation settling.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't deal with the issue initially, or just to assess them, what's the problem? Where is the issue in terms of you could have horizontal cracks, but the width their corner won't be that big. Then those ones you can plaster them, close them, with yeah again. But if the crack becomes wider, which means now your foundation yes is settling even further. So the risk is now that you're gonna have utongalako, your wall collapsing as time goes by, as the foundation sinks, then your wall will end up collapsing. That's the risk that you're gonna have when it comes to horizontal cracks if you don't deal with the issues at hand firstly. Yeah, then when you come to, can I go to verticals about that as well? Verticals, if you don't deal with vertical cracks at the initial stage, for instance, I'm a vertical cracks, the only thing that the risk you might have is more of the aesthetic looks or the looks of the building, because the crack will become wider, not wider, but it will just continue. So those ones are not critical unless they become wider. So again, if they become wider, the wall, chances are high your wall will fall. But if they don't become wider, your house won't look nice. It's gonna have all those cracks that everyone else can see. So those are the risks when it comes to vertical and horizontal.
Okay. So this we horizontal you spoke about that if you don't fix them, you don't give attention to those horizontal cracks, the walls may collapse. So Uti, what period do they tend to the walls, the foundation collapse? Does it something that happens immediately or is it in a space of 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? Especially
That one is
especially if the property is new, like these new properties, then you maybe it's less than 5 years, but already it's got this horizontal cracks. So what are the chances of it in
okay.
the space of time collapsing?
Look, it's gonna depend on the severity of the issue.
Okay.
Because if you, when you touched last week, it was more of the foundation in terms of the bearing capacity of the soil not able to withstand or withhold the
Mm,
pressure being exerted by the walls and the whole structure of the building. So if the bearing capacity of the soil is very poor, with time is a so
mm,
now it's gonna depend how bad the situation is. So every situation is gonna be different. Yeah.
mm,
So we cannot say it will take a year, 10 years, 5 years. It's gonna be a continuous thing. But most of the time it's not a quick thing within a year or 2 years, but it takes time. But again, it depends on the ground conditions or the reason why you are having those horizontal cracks. So again, we have to again to assess those cracks. About what really causes them. Then we pinpoint: is it either we are building on top of clay, or is it either we got underground water issues, or is the tree next to the house which got big roots is the one causing that cracking on the foundation. So it's going to depend on the causes of those
mm.
horizontal cracks. And then they would determine the extent or how long it will take for that wall to come down. Sometimes it doesn't come down, but sometimes it does. But again, what the problem is if your wall, yeah, if like which means now the ceiling and the roof again are gonna be out of position as well. So it's gonna affect a lot of things as time. But again, there's no time woman is gonna take 1 year, 2 years. It depends on how bad the situation is.
Oh, okay. And then the vertical, okay, we said, like, it's just not something that you have to actually worry much about it because it's just settling of the foundation. Yeah. So,
Correct.
Yona, is how do I fix it? Just what do I buy to actually try to make sure the aesthetic of my property looks good? So, what are the things that I should go at the shop and look for so that I can try to fix them?
Okay. Okay. Those ones again, just to recap again. Your horizontal, your vertical are going to be influenced by your building settling to its final position. That means those cracks won't continue. They will be as they are, or else the plastering is not up to standard. The workmanship on the plastering is not up to standard. So those ones are easy to repair. You can just buy a crack filler and get someone who's a builder just to check if there's no loose plastering. Yeah, because you have to feel it. Yeah, but okay, it looks up okanye kwenzelani. Yeah, but
Mm,
then now you get someone or builder who understands. Okay, is it plastering le funeka iphumile or it's just settlement? So if it's settlement, you just get a crack filler and you fill it. But again, now if it's plastering now, then your guy who's with the brick layer or whatever. So ufuneke na just to fill the if the plastering is still intact. If now it feels banangati intact, then he needs to remove that plastering and put a new plaster on Landau. But most of the time, if it's just normal settlement, just the crack filler will do it and you paint over it.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not something that you need to crack your mind about. It's just to get the builder, just to make to assess
Mm.
the foundation if the plastering is still intact, and then you get a fill, and then you might fix it out, and that's it. Okay. And then
Mm.
lastly, this. So zeziphi ezinye izinto that um going back to horizontal cracks, zeziphi izinto that will affect the the features of the house if the they are horizontal cracks already they are wider and they pose a risk. This is that are, what are the features that will be affected? Looking at the flooring, looking at your furniture, looking at all other things. You know,
Okay.
what are the other things that don't actually be at fault caused by the horizontal cracks?
Yeah.
Because it seems like we need to
Okay.
give attention to those.
Yeah, the first thing you had a look at if your foundation is sagging. So you notice that if you got tiling, like your ceramic tiles, you start developing cracks on your ceramic tiles, continuous crack. Yeah. Then if you got skirting, if you got skirting on your walls, then
Yes.
again you will see that now there's going to be a gap between your floor and your skirting.
Okay.
Also, you will also notice that most of the time it's just you see now the crack developing between the brick and mortar. So and also now you have to now again Uzamu, if you don't have the finances now to get someone who specializes on fixing the foundation, then you can do by now for now just for aesthetics wise, put crack feel out, close it. But again, after some time, it's gonna open up again until you address the issue of the foundation. Yeah, Kubana. How do you support it to prevent it from going even deeper? So if you can, I think if I can use the medical term, how do you stop the bleeding? So same thing with that. So once the bombing at is opening, getting what's you need to get someone to make sure that you halt the sagging and you try to get a way how to fix it in Gubana. How do you bring it back to its normal positions? So it's become quite costly.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't have.
obviously. So it's not, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna be entirely fixed. It's just treating the symptoms.
You plastering, you putting a crack filler is more like treating the symptoms. But now you fixing the foundation is getting to the root of the problem.
Or the problem.
So which
Oh,
means so
okay.
there are many techniques that people use, but the needs again people that you use to support their foundation. You can go. There are things called underpinning. So you just go on. There's so many techniques, but again, an expert who can come and give you okay, the situation, Yako, the severity of your condition of a foundation. We recommend to do this type of method to fix and correct the issue.
Yeah.
So every situation is not depend on your severity of your problem when it comes to your foundation.
Well, and I also presume with time, even a cupboard, with even your kitchen cupboards, the alignment they start to become a problem. If they found the foundation is not fixed, you only just treating the symptoms because you feel like there's a gap between the wall and the cupboard of the kitchen. Starting the alignment is starting to not to be there anymore. And also, I'm sure even the windows as well, maybe back on the
Hmm.
gaps and so forth. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, again, it's gonna depend where the failure is in your foundation. Sometimes if
Okay.
your failure is closer to your door sometimes won't able to open. So like you're difficult for you to open the door. Also, if the failure is closer to the window, gonna be difficult again to open the window. So those are the signs where you see, okay, now there's something happening when it comes to my foundation. Umnyango wenza uvuleka, your window is difficult to open. So those are the things we must look out for as well, but if we don't treat the situation, the problem.
So, Zeus, what would, lastly, on your own opinion, if somebody is confronted with that situation, the severity of these cracks, what do you advise on based on your own experience? The person decides, you know what,
Uh,
let me sell this property and run. So it can be somebody else's problem. Or what? Or I just soldier on and spend money on this thing and make it work.
uh, whenever I think is, I think I'll take an example of if you have an old car or a car is giving you problems. So the question is how much sentimental value holds. If you feel like there's not no sentimental value or whatever, you just fix one maybe right, then you sell it to become other person's problem. Or else now if you feel when this car you have so much value in it, sentimental value, and you like it, you're gonna spend the money to get it fixed.
It's like,
So to come back to your question, so it depends on you when how much sentimental value you put into your property. If you feel like when this property is what I want and I want and if only 10 years, then you can spend the money to try to correct that problem.
this in Kumbuz, the old car, got that, the Ford, what do you call it? The Ford, what he bought this car
Oh,
in 1984.
yeah.
He still hasn't money.
Yeah. So the amount of money you spent and the value of the car, Uber now this you could have bought
And you
two new
are not,
cars.
but he refuses to sell it. 1984, that Ford, guys, it's even older than me, but he refused to sell it. But hey, it sucks. Like, it's like a hole that is just, draining and suck
Um,
all the finances. But he says it's going to be an inheritance one day. When I die, I'll give it to somebody else. To be somebody else's problem. So yeah, it goes back to that
mm,
sentimental value. How is it close to your heart? So yeah, okay. No, thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. I think yeah, as I share up, we're gonna leave it there, guys. It was good sessions, Zakes. I learned a lot. It makes you think
Mm,
as well. Even buying my next property, and I need to be,
mm,
looking into these things, the cracks, how
yeah.
wide it is it horizontal and the vertical, and do I have the money now to fix them? If I feel like this is the right property at a good price, the location is good, am I willing to take that risk? So it was
Mm,
really eye opening for me and a lot of people that even the first video, a lot of people said, "Wow, thanks for this information." So it's good that Nyani
yeah.
sometimes to come to this platform and educate our people about this because as I'm not an engineer, I wouldn't have known what types of cracks. I just see a crack and I think like, okay, what is going on here? Do I fix it? So yeah, it was good and
Yeah.
yeah, it was good and
Mm.
thanks so much for your time. Guys, thank you very much. Any last words? Do you have anything to say or should I just close up and say
Oh
goodbye?
yeah. I I I I feel both gates. Anything in construction or both in life, the foundation is the most important or critical aspect of anything. So I believe if you're building a house from scratch, so just spend a couple of money just to have a look at the foundation. Someone's gonna tell you, okay, here this foundation you might have a problem. Also, so we need to design your foundation to suit the conditions that we have. So again, if you're buying a property, just do proper diligence in terms of going around, look at the house, look at the sides which are exposed to rain. Okay, is there any cracks? Is there pana? Is there a big tree next to this house? Or how if it's a big tree, then the roads is Yambanjan. So you need to look at the house if it's closer to area where there's water. Yeah, but so those things we have to look at those things. Yeah, but just do a proper research then before getting yourself into that job because it's difficult to fix. It's difficult and expensive to fix. But sometimes if you're lucky, you might get away with it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That was good. That was good closing remarks. Okay, guys, thank you so much and keep well. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can get notification of the next video. So every week I always load a video, so it's important that you subscribe and please share this video and like it and leave a comment to the comment section if there's anything else that you want to know or you want to share or want to add. Do you have any experience now in your house that you're having these cracks and how do you fix them? And so there's a lot of advice that we can give out, guys. So keep well and God bless. Love you.